Nigerians are reacting to the claim of former central bank governor and governor of Anambra State, Governor Charles Soludo. He said that the current administration led by the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu inherited a dead economy from its predecessors. He blamed the previous CBN administration's illegal printing of money as part of why the economy was killed. Soludo conveyed this statement on Thursday during an interview with Channel's television Politics Today program discussing the Central Bank of Nigeria's policies. He said that this economy inherited a dead economy. From a macroeconomic point of view, this government inherited a dead horse.
That we sat here in this country and saw the monetary authorities literally printing money, literally illegally, and I must say, printing money. Because I superintended the development or the drafting of the 2007 Central Bank Act. And to prevent us from getting where we are today, that's why we had an explicit clause there that prevents central bank from lending, recklessly, granting ways and means advances to the federal government. And we explicitly put in the law that you cannot grant more than to federal government more than 5% of the previous year's actual revenue as ways and means advances to the federal government. And that so granted must be retired by the end of the year in which it is granted. And where the federal government fails to retire that, the central bank is forbidden by that law from further advancing ways and means to it. That's the law. 2007 Act of the Central Bank. By that law, I don't think there was any time that the ways and means advances would have been more than 250 billion at any point in time. We were very stringent in doing this. And as governor, I was very bullish in insisting that we remain within the ambit of the law. But we sat there, all of us, Nigerians, we are all guilty of this. We all sat, saw the central bank, brazenly, illegally violating that act year on year and kept printing money, literally. Because when you advance money that is backed by nothing, you just credit the federal government, but continue to credit the account of government with trillions. 1 trillion, people shouted, 2 trillion, 10 trillion, 15 trillion, 20 trillion. And we kept going. My dear friend Shem, I did say it before, that this particular government inherited a dead economy. From a macroeconomic point of view, this government inherited a dead economy standing, almost a dead horse, that was still standing, but people didn't know it was dead.
Reacting to the interview, distinguished KPMG on Twitter says, Soludo was part of the smart economists that the dull Buhari assembled to advise him. Soludo just said that Buhari left a terrible economy for Tinubu. Does it mean that Soludo advised Buhari wrongly, or he's trying to be an advisor to President Tinubu? Akwa Ibom Feston says Charles Soludo was a member of the Buhari economic team who killed the Nigerian economy. Chinasa also said the way Soludo is leaking Tinubu these days should make you understand that he is banking on Tinubu for the second term race and not on the votes of Anambrarians, just as Hope Uzodinma did in Imo State. He said, but guess what? Anambra State ain't Imo State. Them go dabaru everything. General Omoko says Soludo defended Buhari when he was in government. Soludo is today running down the Buhari's government. All his politicians' way. Don't worry yourselves. Also, Kwang John on Twitter says, you folks should allow Soludo pursue his second-term agenda in peace. There is no Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to bank on, so he is exploring other opportunities with psychophancy. We can now see how alive the horse he rides in Anambra State is. In another news, the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeye Enitan Ogunsi, has described Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo as a true Nigerian. The Ooni was speaking when he paid a visit to the governor at the governor's lodge, Amobia. According to the monarch, Governor Soludo had tried to live his life as a true Nigerian ambassador, representing the country in both character and attire. The Ooni eulogized the glorious days of Governor Soludo at the Central Bank of Nigeria, which eventually gave rise to the consolidation of banks in the country. He encouraged the governor to continue his selfless service to Anambra State in particular and Nigeria at large. Receiving the monarch, Governor Soludo said the likes of the Ooni is needed for national healing in this critical, challenging time of Nigeria's nationhood. The governor described him as the most traveled king and encouraged him to keep being the bridge builder. He noted that now that a president had been elected, Nigerians owe him a duty to support him, saying that the traditional institution, being a stable entity, is the needed building block to help salvage the nation. The governor noted that the institution provides the balancing force for the country, especially if everyone bond together, noting that there is increased need for more national leaders who see everyone as one people and the country as one entity to ensure stability for the nation. The Ooni, who had some kings in his entourage, later presented a symbolic gift of bronze carving to the governor, which had the image of a hunter standing on the rock.